Hey there, Mike Me back with KTVU Fox 2 in the San Francisco Bay Area. Look, the NBA regular season, that's up in the air. The postseason is even up in the air. But that does not mean NBA organizations are getting out there and helping the community. The Golden State Warriors, a prime example of that. Melanie Moore is VP of Community Relations and the Executive Director of the Warriors Community Foundation. She's here to talk about it. Melanie, thanks for being with us.
My pleasure.
Hey, take me back real quick to February, early March, life as we know it, just kind of rolling on. We knew about the coronavirus, but it wasn't impacting us. And then all of a sudden, the NBA stops, our lives stop, jobs are being are starting to disappear. How did you react, and what was your initial reaction to this?
It was sadness, first of all, of course, shock. I was at a game with my daughter just a couple of days before the hiatus, and we're huge Warriors fans, just personally. So that was sort of a blow to realize that we might lose the rest of the season. But then immediately thoughts turned to a lot of the nonprofits that we work with. So in my role, we work with over 50 nonprofits that serve young people and their families around the Bay. And knowing that there would be consequences almost immediately for a lot of families in terms of, parents being out of work and, of course, what we've seen happen with schools.
So, how did that change what you actually do? Like what you were doing in January to what you were facing now? Maybe nothing, but did you have to pivot a little bit?
Absolutely. We have a grant making schedule that unfolds as the season goes along. And so we were on track and kind of doing our thing. And immediately, I mean, the hiatus, I think, happened on a Wednesday, if I'm remembering correctly. And that Friday, I ended up spending all day working with my colleagues at the Warriors to put together a disaster relief fund for our part-time game day workers. We were able to raise over the last few months $1.5 million to grant out in payments of around $1,000 to over 1,500 of our part-time game day workers. So we're thrilled to have been able to do that. That required a pivot quickly and a lot of sort of fast footwork, but we're good at that at the Warriors, so we got it done.
I mean, I know this week, and that's a big number to help out all those part-time employees. And this week, I believe it was put out there that more than 1,700 had to be laid off. Do you have any idea when they may be able to return? Is it actually till events at the Chase Center return? I guess.
We hope that that'll be as soon as possible, but yeah, we are in the same position as every team, and waiting to welcome our workers back with open arms when we're playing games for fans again.
When you made that pivot and you knew you had to do that community outreach, was it just kind of a huddle up? I mean, I don't know if you're with Rick Welch, who's the president of the organization, others in the organization, and you kind of just made this strategy and planned it out.
Exactly like that, except that we were all remote.
Right.
So we were all at home already. But a lot of people don't know, but disaster relief funds came around after 9/11. And so there was a desire at that time for a lot of nonprofit organizations and companies to support their individual employees who were facing a crisis situation and real devastation. So it's a vehicle that nonprofits can use or companies can use to quickly fundraise and quickly get dollars out the door to individuals, which is just a great tool to have. We're fortunate we have the Warriors Community Foundation. We've had it since 2011, 2012, and it's been a very powerful arm of who the Warriors is and who we are as a company.
Hmm.
And we're able to leverage that foundation to do a lot of good in the community. And this is just another example.
Before you sat down and you outlined your strategy, did you open up your ears? Did you listen to the Bay Area and its residents to find out really who needed help the most? What was the immediate needs here and there?
We did, and of course, first we talked to our workers, and the immediate need was for support. As we have gone on over the last few weeks, we of course are trying to key in through the network of nonprofits that we support to what a lot of needs are.
Mhm.
And we established a strategy together with our leadership, really wanting to focus on covering the needs of our part-time game day workers, also focusing on the needs of our communities in need, folks who are experiencing food insecurity or seniors who are at home and isolated. the needs of our teachers and our students, and of course the needs of frontline workers, healthcare workers, and also frontline workers like delivery people, folks working at grocery stores. There are a lot of people who are still on the front lines and doing great work that are enabling all of us to keep rolling.
Yeah.
So we wanted to focus a give back strategy on those groups of individuals and really try to support the whole Bay as we get through this time.
Well, let me ask you about, I mean, you talked about your employees already and what you've done to help them financially. You mentioned healthcare workers. Can we dive into that a little bit more and explain what the Warriors did for healthcare workers out there?
Sure. A few different things and hopefully more to come. We have been able to work with NBC Bay Area and other organizations to actually contribute a lot of our t-shirt inventory for the making of masks, and have been able to deliver those to healthcare organizations around the Bay. We also were able to purchase meals for some healthcare workers
Great.
at Kaiser Permanente through the generosity of Zaza Pachulia,
Right.
our great team member, who out of the goodness of his heart purchased those meals, and we had those delivered. And we were also able to make grants in partnership with Anheuser-Busch, one of our corporate sponsors, to a couple of clinics, one in the Fruitvale La Clinica de la Raza in Oakland, and one in the Mission Neighborhood Health Center in San Francisco. And those funds went directly to support the efforts of healthcare workers there.
You know, yesterday I was listening to California Governor Gavin Newsom speak at a news conference about the budget, $54 billion hole. And what I was really specifically looking at was for children and education and how much was going to be cut. When it comes to Bay Area schools and school districts, I know there's a lot of them, and you can't help each and every one of them. But have the Warriors? Have you guys gone out to help some school districts there?
Absolutely. It's actually been a cornerstone of our Warriors Community Foundation approach since inception in 2011, 2012 to focus on supporting school districts. And we are really, really proud that in the last week was Teacher Appreciation Week, we were able to honor teachers and recognize their efforts by contributing $125,000 to each school district, Oakland Unified and San Francisco Unified, in those two counties that we focus on the most. And those funds are really to help end the digital divide in both communities. So really to get laptops and hotspots out to students, as well as support connectivity for those kids. So it's one of the ways that we support the school districts. We have supported them in the past and will continue to do so in the future. We're glad we could make this extra push right now because it's so needed.
I know the Warriors. Obviously, they moved out of Oakland. They came to San Francisco. You guys opened up the Chase Center. It's a beautiful facility. I've been inside it to watch a couple of games. Did be coming to San Francisco and opening that up? I guess. Look, you have Salesforce, and they have the Salesforce Tower, and now the Warriors are in San Francisco. I consider those like anchor tenants. Do you feel that there was more pressure on the organization to kind of step up and deliver? And I'm not saying that they have not done that before in years past at times of need and emergencies, but even more so now that this was the first year in San Francisco?
I wouldn't use the word pressure as much as opportunity and enthusiasm to be a great corporate citizen in the Bay Area. And moving into San Francisco, of course, started many years before we actually physically moved into the building. And as an organization, I know we've worked really closely with local elected officials on both sides of the Bay, and in San Francisco have been able to evolve plans together with local leaders to include things like Thrive City, our beautiful sort of open square right outside Chase Center, and then soon to come, and I can't wait till we can all get back out there, a park across from Chase Center that is a City of San Francisco park, but definitely supported and helped brought to fruition by a lot of our planning efforts. We want to support the fans that come to our games. We want to support the entire Bay Area through all the things we do philanthropically. Also in terms of the jobs that we hope we're creating in the Bay, and all of the focus that we have on promoting the well-being in general of all those folks who are our neighbors and our fans.
Yeah. What about volunteering? I mean, I know we're under the shelter at home order, stay at home orders, and it's hard to get out, obviously, and volunteer. But are there opportunities for people within the Warriors organization to volunteer somehow?
Absolutely. And one of the second things we did after we established a disaster relief fund was to create a virtual volunteering program, which was taking the volunteerism that we do already. We already have an ongoing set of ways that our employees give back to the community through serving on nonprofit boards or volunteering at food banks or going into classrooms. And we moved all of that virtual, of course, to comply with shelter in place and to keep everybody safe. And the opportunities are many. There are all kinds of ways that all of us can engage online, whether it's calling a senior citizen, writing a letter to somebody who might be isolated. Obviously, people can make contributions to the charities of their choice. And people can also donate blood. So we've been promoting activities like that among our workforce. And coming up the week of Memorial Day, we're actually going to conduct a week of service where all of our employees are going to be giving back over the course of that week to a whole host of nonprofit organizations and engaging in a whole range of activities that are going to be focused on giving back, because it's incredibly important that we show up in the Bay for our fans. It's also important for all of us. Service actually makes us healthier. There's studies that have been done that it actually that sense of connection and sense of belonging that comes from providing service is something that really supports everybody's mental health. So we want to enable our employees to have that feeling and do good at the same time.
I think it's a great point. Thank you for bringing that up, especially the blood donation as well. I didn't think about that. Obviously, you talked about what's coming up toward the end of the month and that week during Memorial Day week. But moving past that, is there anything else on your radar that maybe the organization looks forward to helping out here?
We are continuing to look at ways to support frontline workers. We're continuing to work with our many corporate partners to figure out ways that we can partner to provide support to the communities that we focus on here. So we have a lot to look forward to. So stay tuned for sure. We'll be having hopefully more and more focus on some of these efforts going forward.
Okay.
And in the coming season, starting up as just, as we would with basketball, the Warriors Community Foundation will continue to support the nonprofits that we fund through our regular grant making program. And we're really proud to be able to do that. We've been standing by these organizations for a long time and will continue to do so.
I know. That's great. Hey, I know obviously you're doing a lot. Is there any concern financially for the foundation or the Warriors organization because their games have not been being played? You're in the new arena, but yet you're still going out and donating and helping the communities and the school districts. Has that been talked about or discussed?
I can speak for the foundation. We're in a good position. We raise all of the funds that we grant out each year, and we're in a great situation that we had raised our funds that we're going to be granting out through our next grant cycle already. And so that's not in any way in danger or compromised. And our practice is whatever we bring in, we grant out. So we want to make sure that the community gets the focus there. And so those organizations that we work with will be invited soon to submit their annual application, and we'll be there.
Okay. Well, you're helping the community, you're helping students, you're helping healthcare workers, all those employees with the organization. So, at this emergency we're experiencing, from my vantage point, the Warriors organization is doing great out there, and we thank you for that.
Thank you.
Melanie Moore, I appreciate your time and stay safe. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too.